listening to the Lutheran Ladies Lounge podcast. I'm Sarah.
I'm Erin.
I'm Bree.
And I'm Rachel.
Bree is about to go on vacation, and so she's like only halfway in the studio.
I'm only halfway.
But that's okay because we have a super fun topic.
It's the only thing keeping me going right now, guys.
It's a super fun topic today. It is a wild card, and we are talking about Aunties and Uncles Day. And being an auntie is the best thing in the world.
The best.
It is the best. Bree, take it away before I talk the whole time.
It's okay. We'll make space for that. It's all right. So, Aunts and Uncles Day, as Sarah referred to just now, it is celebrated in the United States on July 26th every year. Obviously, as we are a lounge full of women, I'm not going to refer to aunts and uncles this whole time. Like, we're going to specifically talk about being aunts to our nieces and nephews.
Yes.
The history and origin of Aunts and Uncles Day is unknown.
Huh.
It's one of those things that the internet tends to agree that it is to be observed on July 26th. But no information is available on the day's history and origins. Like, it's straight up, they admit, like, we don't know who spoke this into existence. It just...
That's really interesting.
It just is.
Normally those days are like a very specific, like, this person had this idea and they brought it before Congress and now it's a thing.
Someone just declared it. And that's fine because...
Well, maybe it's just sort of like roughly in between Mother's and Father's Day and Grandparents' Day.
Maybe.
Oh,
Like,
that's true.
throw a dart.
Frankly, though,
Pick a day.
the question is, honestly, who cares? Because the relationship an aunt has with her niece and nephew can be tremendously special and certainly something worth celebrating any day of the year, quite frankly.
Yep.
I personally am the aunt of 3 nieces, Campbell, Lennon, and Gwyn, and 3 nephews, one of whom is also named Lennon, Justin, and Gabe.
That's a very interesting name to have.
Right?
A boy and a girl.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, very much. And I have millions of other nieces and nephews that are not related to me by any stretch of the imagination.
But that's okay.
Being an aunt is literally the best, and we will go into that later. But just to give you a little background on how I cut my teeth on aunthood. The year was 2011, and my sister had her first child, Campbell Shay Otwell. I was unemployed at the time. And my sister, being the teacher that she is, timed it so that she would have the baby right before school ended, and she could take maternity leave.
Impressive.
I know.
That is very impressive.
I know. So, anyway, I basically, once school came back around and I didn't have a job at that point, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I raised that child like she was my own. And that was a very special experience. No, I did not. But I went to their house every day.
Sort of like.
And I changed her diapers every time. And I fed her foods and stuff and stimulated her mind with books and stuff. So...
Best auntie ever.
She turned out okay.
Yeah.
She roasts me all the time.
That's why she loves you so much. I get it now.
I can't blame her, honestly. She comes by it honestly. So anyway, yes. So I have a deep and abiding love for my nieces and nephews, but I wanted to put it forth to you all to see what your experiences with auntyhood has been like for you. And it could be blood relatives or not. So go ahead. Whoever wants to go.
Well, I have 3. What do you call them when they're a unit?
A unit?
Like I don't have 3 nieces and nephews.
Like a gender neutral.
I have 3 because I only have 1.
My brother uses the term nephews, which I like a lot. Nephews.
Nibs.
I call them nibblings.
Niblets. Sweet niblets.
Okay.
I got that from my sister.
You don't have to adopt that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, I have 1 niece. We'll just break it out. That's easier.
Break it out, girl.
1 niece and 2 nephews. And it's marvelous. I love being able to be the role of aunt. I have a lot of aunts myself. And so it was interesting. I don't feel like I have like the same interactions that my aunts had with me because I live Well, maybe with the one, it'll end up being more like that. But he's a boy, so it'll probably be a little different. But anyway, I live closer to my niece and nephew here than I did to my own aunts when I was growing up. And so I have more regular interactions with them. So anyway, yeah,
Nice.
Good times.
Yeah.
I have 5 nibblings. My brother married one of my best friends, so that helped a lot.
Uh-huh.
So I have 3 nephews, 2 nieces, and I love them so much.
That's so good.
The boys love my husband maybe more than me, and that's okay. They play baseball together. It's wonderful. The 2 girls are the youngest 2, and one of them is glued to my hip whenever we're together, and she's like, I am only going where Auntie Sarah is going.
It's a babysitter.
And
You've imprinted on her. She's a baby duck.
my brother and sister-in-law basically say we're the same person, just a lot of years apart.
Aw.
Aw.
Can't wait.
We kind of are. We bond over jewelry and shoes, even though she's not my age. We are kind of besties, and it's wonderful. The youngest girl is her own person. But it has been so wonderful because we don't have kids. We just have the ability to travel. They live in Pittsburgh, so we don't see them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But both of us, my husband and I, are very determined to be a part of their lives and to show up for them whenever we can. So because we don't have kids ourselves, we have a lot more flexibility to just kind of like drive the 10 hours and be there for stuff, which has been
back-to-back recital weekends.
Yeah. So my oldest, the 3 nephews had their book 1 Suzuki piano recitals, which I mean,
Oh.
grand scheme of things, not a huge deal, but to a child, a pretty big deal. This is their piano recital, and it's only them. It's only like 10 minutes long. It's very short, but it's only them. It's all memorized, and it's kind of a big deal for them. So we drove 3 times in like 3 months.
Oh.
We drove 10 hours to stay there for like 2 days and be there for the piano recital.
Best aunt ever.
And drive back. But like
For
now it's a
real.
precedent. But it's been so important for us to do that for these kids and to make sure that we have that relationship with them, even though we don't live close together, because it's just so important to have those people. I wasn't super close with my aunts growing up. We didn't live very close together.
Mm-hmm.
So it just, wasn't really a thing. So
Yeah.
I want to be there for those kiddos. They're just so cute. I love them.
And they're hilarious.
They're hilarious.
How about
And-
you?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go. Finish.
I had one more story.
Do
I
it.
forgot about it.
I
So
love aunt stories.
a couple of years ago, right after my youngest niece was born, my brother and sister-in-law went out to her brother's wedding in California. So Luther and I got to like fill-in parents.
Legal guardian fill-in
Basically, yeah.
Question
So
mark?
we were basically their parents for 4 or 5 days. I don't remember. We watched them at their house in Pittsburgh, and it was interesting because we don't have kids. So the first 24 hours, we were like, I don't know what's happening. But that was
Figured it out.
it was such a formative experience, though, to be able to be the adults in their lives for that many days. I think that was actually really huge for us to just have that closer relationship, because we can discipline them now and it's not even a big deal. Like, we have the authority to tell you what to do now, because
You respect us.
yeah, they do. And they do respect us as auntie and uncle. But it's so great. I love them.
Aww.
Now I want to go to Pittsburgh.
Okay, before I tell about my aunt experience, do you all say aunt or aunt? Because in my family, we say aunt, which gets a little confusing sometimes. But I know that there's variation in this.
I say aunt, but my sister-in-law says aunt. So all of our nibblings say aunt. So I
Okay.
have to say both, and it's weird.
I grew up doing aunt or auntie, and Rachel, you may find that you'll hear that more often on the East Coast.
Yeah, I do hear it more often on the East Coast. I heard it at church yesterday, and it sort of took me aback. And I say auntie, but I say aunt, which is interesting.
I do that
I mean, I've lived a lot of places, so I pick up what I can.
Oh,
So I will refer to aunts throughout this episode, but that shows you we're multilingual here in the
of
lounge.
course. We're not
right.
prescriptive. We don't do that
Exactly.
here.
So I was actually a mother before I was an aunt, because my husband and I are both oldest siblings,
Ah.
and we had the oldest grandchild on both sides One of them, on one side, it was only by 2 weeks because my sister-in-law had a baby right after me. But so I have been a mom longer than I've been an aunt, which I think changes the perspective on being an aunt, because suddenly you're just not able to pamper as much because your kids notice if you're pampering your nephews. You still have a really warm and special relationship, and we're very close with all of our siblings and all of my nieces and nephews. So I have 15 nephews. That breaks down into 11 nephews and 4 nieces from both sides of the family, and they are just such a treasure to me. And they're all, between 2 weeks and like 15 years younger than my kids. But that has just been a wonderful thing for our family to have these children just filling in the gaps in between. My youngest daughter, she was the youngest in our family by like 4 years, which would have put her in a very lonely place if my sister-in-law had not, actually 2 of my sisters-in-law had not had babies the same year on either side of the family. So her best friend in the world is a cousin who's 2 months older than she is, and it just creates that depth of family relationships.
Cousin
that you
friends
can't.
are the best.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So seeing them together, whenever we get together, they just disappear, which is wonderful. So yeah, I love being an aunt. It's very rare that I like I said, I get to pamper them in the same way, but more it's like bring all the cousins together, and I'm one of the referees who calls everybody in and feeds them at appropriate times. And, occasionally suggests activities, but they love each other,
I recommend this activity for you right now.
Yes. Like maybe not jumping on the beds at grandma's house.
Right.
And how about we go outside? Yay. That sort of thing. That's my role as an aunt. Although I have known some really special aunt-niece or aunt-nephew relationships in my family. I remember 2 of my cousins, when one of them had a small daughter who loved her aunt very much, but never called her aunt. She had a mom and she had a Barbie mom. Her aunt was her Barbie mom.
Okay. Barbie mom.
And it just sort of showed the sort of special relationship that, and of course, now she's this particular cousin / niece is all grown up and has babies of her own. But I always remembered that story, and it highlighted for me what a special relationship an aunt and a niece can have, and how wonderfully supportive they can be for each other.
Yes,
for sure.
I also want to just point out my nails are painted right now, only because my nieces and nephews were at my house a week ago and we had a nail painting party.
Yes.
And my niece chose this color for me.
Do you know what's sad is when you have a better social life when you're hanging out with like 12-year-olds.
It's true. Well, she's 4, 5.
That's wonderful. I mean, these relationships, they stick with you. I am actually 2 days from now going to be getting in the car and driving 2 days to go visit a couple of my aunts down in another part of the country. Yes. And it's just like one of the high points of my summer is getting to connect with some wonderful aunts whom I have not seen in a while. Of course, there are cousins and uncles too, but let's be honest.
Right. Well, and I think being an aunt is special for a variety of reasons. Firstly and foremostly, like aunthood is a vocation that's not necessarily all that exclusive the way that motherhood or sisterhood might be. At any age and any stage of a girl or woman's life, they can be an aunt, whether they are single, unmarried, married, divorced. Being an aunt is really for any woman. And as I said before, you don't need to have flesh and blood siblings or sibling in-laws who have children to be an aunt. Like I probably have a solid Rolodexes full of kids of my friends and close family friends that I would surely bring under my wing should anything happen to their parents.
Right.
Oh,
just
and
do
that includes my own children. I know my
Right.
youngest. You are always Auntie Brie to her.
If she doesn't show up on my doorstep soon, like with a blanket and a cute little suitcase, like, what are you even doing right now, Rachel? Like, what are you doing to me? I'm just
Living
so
in
ready.
Connecticut.
I'm so ready for this.
summer vacation though.
That is true.
Summer trip.
I'll swing by Connecticut on my way home from
There you
North
go.
Carolina. Just take
There
a
you
little,
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on the way.
little detour.
Yeah.
I had 6 extra hours. Whatever. It's fine.
Is it only 6?
No.
No, not at all.
That's
Actually,
a long way.
it's a long way. But, and I want to be clear too that like the love of an aunt in most circumstances can't replace the love of a mom. Like, I want to be clear on that. Being a mom is its own special thing, relationship dynamic. And I want to be able to honor that and acknowledge that. But I also think that there are benefits to being an aunt that can provide sort of an additional measure of love and nurturing spiritually and emotionally speaking.
Mm.
Back when I was sort of quote unquote raising Campbell, I was basically giving my sister the opportunity to return to work and not have to worry about paying for childcare or anything like that. Like, it gives new parents the opportunity to go out on dates or reacclimate to society because you have someone there to sort of take up the role of temporary mom, quote unquote, to sort of carry the mantle when mom has to go away and do something. As my nieces, especially as my 2 nieces that live in the area grow older, I've come to find that being an aunt means that my nieces have an extra ear to listen and an extra shoulder to cry on, somewhat of a confidant. And, obviously when you're a mom and you're trying to tell your child something, like you're trying to share a truth with them or wisdom, they're going to think you're stupid and like not listen to you, right? You're like, mom, you're so mean.
Sigh, but true.
Right. And
it's going to be cool in a way that moms just can't.
Right?
put my headphones in, mom, my hoodie over my face. And but I think as an aunt, you have a little more leverage to help share some of those insights and perspectives that can open them up more to truth and wisdom. And it's cooler that way, I feel like,
Yeah.
And that's whether or not it's simply a matter of perception. Like, as a mother, you may be sharing wisdom and insight that if anyone else told him it would be all of a sudden the bee's knees, and this is the best idea you've ever said. But when it comes out of your mom's mouth, it's lame, kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So. And also, I think it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. Aunts are a solid, I think, go-to candidate for baptismal sponsors, godparents, legal guardians.
Yep. My aunt is my sponsor.
Yeah. So, I may not be their mom, and that's fine, but I love them like I am. And not to toot my own horn or anything, but I might be the next best thing. I'm not going to tell them that, but whatever. It's fine.
I hate to be contrarian here.
Oh,
I'm just going to throw this out here because you all are like the world's best godmothers. I am not. And partly that is because my 2 godchildren are also, it's a niece and a nephew. And whenever I'm with them, I'm with all my other nieces and nephews. And so somehow the aunt vocation feels stronger and more important to me than the godmother vocation. And I may be wrong in that. However, I don't tend to give special treatment to the 2 out of 10 who are my godchildren. And maybe I should, but I want to be there for all of them. I want to be a de facto godmother for all of them, who prays for all of them, who speaks the word of God to all of them. And so I think as a result, it may be that my godchildren don't actually know or remember that I'm their godmother.
That can,
because I don't do as much as I could and possibly should to pamper them as godchildren, because I want whatever I give for them to be available to all my other nieces and nephews too.
Sure.
So just something to think about if
Yeah.
you're considering an aunt or uncle type person for a sponsor, that it may put them in this weird space if there are other nieces and nephews who are not their godchildren.
Got it. Yeah, that's good.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That said, my uncle is my godfather and he's been amazing to me my whole life. So
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's okay. Like, frankly, I'm talking like I'm the best aunt ever. Like, I really feel like I could do more in the arena, particularly of like spiritual growth. Of Campbell, who is I was her baptismal sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't do enough in that arena. I do think that aunts do have a significant role to play in the lives of their nieces and nephews. And I do think that I shirk that sometimes. Generally, I think the more adults that play a role in the spiritual growth of a child, the better, obviously.
Mhm.
And so at the same time, like, as I don't necessarily think it has to be a whole lot of difficulty when it comes to participating in their spiritual growth. It can be praying for them on a routine basis. It could be having frank, faithful discussions with them about, catechesis. That's the $5 million word, right? It's been really cool observing Cam, who is she's going through confirmation right now. She's starting confirmation class, and that's been very interesting because she goes to public school. So I'm sort of experiencing for the first time a close family member who is doing the confirmation thing outside of day school. So that's been very interesting, but also it's been eye-opening, and it's really shown me the importance of being present in the lives of young people when they're going through this kind of instruction.
Yep.
Yes.
So I think it can seem like a daunting task, but I think if you are praying for them, encouraging them in their faith.
Yeah.
I know a lot of, and I don't do this, and maybe I should, a lot of aunts will send their nieces and nephews like baptism birthday cards. Like, I
do that.
I wish I did that more.
Well,
because I don't.
I do that for my godchild. I don't do that for my nieces and nephews. I can't remember. We were there for their baptisms, but I don't remember what the days are. But I think a lot of it too is just modeling behavior.
Yes.
If you have these adults in kids' lives, especially if you go to church with them, my godchild, her family goes to church with us. So a lot of it is just modeling the right behavior when you're around them. And I mean, they pay attention to that kind of stuff.
Yes, they do.
Oh, yeah. I remember when I was a child, one of my aunts, one of the ones I'm going to see this week, whenever I would stay at her house, every time I get up early in the morning, I'd find that she was already up in her chair reading her Bible.
Yeah. Kids pay attention to that.
Every time, every morning, like without fail. And that has translated into my own practice. You know, it took me a couple of decades to get it sorted out, but the example that she set of like, this is what we do. This is good. This is normal. This is a good way to start your day. And I don't know if she knew that we were watching, but I was. And now I do that. And to be fair, my mother does this too. But again, as previously discussed, mom versus aunt as a young person, one is, they just have different impacts on you.
Different.
It's true.
Different.
Yep.
It's true.
For sure. Overall, I would say having nieces and nephews is a God-given blessing. I think being an aunt is one of the greatest vocations that we can be given as women. Being an aunt has, I think, been a necessary life experience for me, especially as deeply involved as I've been in the lives of my I almost said my kids. The lives of my nieces, basically, I feel like they are my kids sometimes. It's taught me a lot about my capacity to love and care for somebody else. I mean, I'm sure motherhood teaches you this too, but this is kind of like a foretaste of the feast to come, maybe. I don't know.
This is your experience.
It is, absolutely.
And I agree with you on that. Because I mean, we have similar experiences of having nieces and nephews and not kids.
Right.
But yeah, I resonate very highly with you on that. Yeah.
But it makes sacrifice seem so much easier. Like, I think prior to 2011, I'd have a hard time being like, yeah, I'd take a bullet for you. That's no problem. And then you start caring for people on this like very basic level, but basic is maybe not the right word for it. But like that changes you.
Yeah.
You're like, yes, I will take a bullet for you. Thank you. Like, yes, please. I will do that for you.
Yep.
Like it completely rewires your brain into this new way of thinking that you have like this tiny not innocent. Scratch that from the record. Tiny, helpless, sinful baby that you're
So sweet though.
Yeah, right. But
adorable.
She can't fend for herself, and so you have to like give of yourself to help out and help them grow. And kids, man, they're amazing. Kids are amazing.
Yep.
Like, I don't know if kids just don't get enough credit, but like in my experience, they're like thoughtful and smart and funny. Like,
kids are hilarious.
So my niece, the niece Lennon versus the nephew Lennon, the niece Lennon has made me laugh on multiple occasions unto the point of peeing my pants and passing out. Like, all blood flow, all oxygen has been cut off to my brain, and I pass out. Like,
wait, you've literally passed out from laughing? Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
She's hilarious.
You should get that scene about.
I don't know. Like, sometimes I'm like, she's like me 2.0. And it's scary.
Oh.
It's scary to me.
Awesome.
Rift in the force.
Yeah, I know. It's like glitch in the Matrix or whatever, for sure. And I think as another sort of secondary effect, it's brought me closer to my own family, especially my siblings. Like, I think it just helps you appreciate your family a little bit more.
Yep.
In a different way. So my final plea would be that if your child doesn't have any aunts or wants more of them, sign me up. I will be their aunt and it will be great. So just hit me up if you want that for yourself or your kids. I'll be your aunt if you're older than me. It's fine. I love being
that happens.
Everybody.
I have several instances of that among my cousins.
Yes. It'll happen. It's fine. It's fine. So, in conclusion, as we approach July 26th, definitely be thinking about ways that aunts or nieces and nephews have impacted your life in positive ways, because that is truly why we celebrate this completely historically ambiguous, unfounded origins of a Hallmark holiday, Aunts and Uncles Day. Amen.
I love it.
That's all I got. It was like 7-minute episode.
Yes, it was 7 minutes plus 23.
Oh, okay.
Ladies, we would love to know about your experiences. If you are an aunt, hopefully you are an aunt. If you're an aunt, how you say it, first of all. We should do like a survey map. See who says it which way that would be.
In what part of the world?
Yeah. I want to know if this is a regional thing. I feel like it is, but
it totally
the regions
is.
Don't make sense in my head because I know people from the same areas that say it differently. I don't know.
Where did they go?
Diaspora.
Yeah, I want to know. Or like, where did your parents grow up? I feel like that is more of a thing than where you
they
grew
taught
up.
you what to say.
Yep. Yeah.
How to call.
I want to know these things.
Science.
Maximum science. So, ladies, we want to know your experiences. If you are an aunt, how you say it, where you're from, tell us your life story. I don't know. You can do that in our Facebook group, the Lutheran Ladies Lounge. You can also follow us and share your stories with us on Instagram at Lutheran Ladies Lounge. You can sign up for our e-newsletter. We send it out monthly if you would like Lutheran Ladies Lounge in your inbox, or if you aren't on social media and still want to keep up with all of the stuff happening. And we do put stuff in that e-newsletter that we don't put anywhere else.
Top secret content.
Hint, hint. So sign up for that e-newsletter. You can find out how to do that on the show notes for this episode, or...
It's been that way this entire episode. I have several screenshots.
Oh, yeah. No, that was like an hour ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
this
sorry.
entire
I was like-
episode it's
So-
been frozen.
Normally, when I freeze, you guys do too, but you guys are still moving.
Yeah, you're frozen. I have a solid screenshot.
That's hilarious. Anyway, where was I?
I don't remember.
Or you can send an email to lutheranladies@kfuo.org. There's a hilarious screenshot of my face. That's why we're all laughing.
Sorry.
lutheranladies@kfuo.org. Send an email and we'll get you signed up for that e-newsletter. You can find all of our episodes at kfuo.org/Lutheran Ladies Lounge or on the KFUO radio app or on your favorite podcasting app. Happy Aunties Day, Aunts and Uncles Day, however you want to say it, for all the dudes that listen to our podcast. All like 5 of
All
them.
3 of you, right?
You're listening to the Lutheran Ladies Lounge podcast. I'm Auntie Sarah.
I'm Aunt Erin.
I'm Auntie B.
And I'm Aunt Rachel.
Views and opinions expressed on the Lutheran Ladies Lounge podcast may not represent the official position of the management or ownership of KFUO Radio, the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. The Lutheran Ladies Lounge is produced by KFUO Radio and available at kfuo.org or wherever you get your podcasts. Join our community on Facebook in the Lutheran Ladies Lounge.